So yeah, there's the joke that you wouldn't fit many more, well, many of them inside the actual diner building. So I added some chairs outside, and as a nod to the joke, I've added a broken chair by the dumpsters. It looks like it's supposed to have like cracked under the weight of a rather portly gentleman. Back here is a few more detail pieces that have been repurposed and put on here. And then that's mostly the way that the new centre section looks. I mean, I think it's quite effective. That flagstop depot may or may not stay there. I'm not really sure about it yet. Not really made a decision. I will be having the depot somewhere on the layout, but I've not really decided where yet. I mean, I'm not sure if it really fits in with the whole industrial switching district that I'm going for. But right, the other change that I've made to it is I have put a hidden staging track. You can really see that back there. A hidden staging track through the inside of the Handy Company building to a little shelf behind the back scene. Cut a hole in the structure, cut a hole in the back scene board, and trains now get loaded onto a little shelf back there, and they run out from there. So that's where the hidden staging is now, and that is due to a change that happened at the other end of the layout. This is the latest version of Thorn. As you can probably see here, the stock shelf's gone from the back scene's been moved backwards. The spur here, which was originally went off into the hidden staging, has now become a switching lead and serves the Villas Brothers Paint Company, passing over a drainage channel which has been filled with Woodland Scenic's realistic water. You can't really see it from here because the lighting's quite poor because it is night time here. That I've actually put some water running down the drainage weir as well. I need to add some more water effects to that just to tie it all together, I think. But there's also this backdrop building straddling the weir with like a little walkway along the front. That's made from Clever Models O-scale warehouse flat. Alongside that is I needed somewhere for my 3-bay hoppers to go, so I have started building. It's not nowhere near finished, as you can probably see. It looks quite bare bones. The Davis feed products grain elevator and unloading shed. There's a couple of silos along the front. The idea is basically at some point I'm going to extend the back scene a little bit higher than it is already, and put like a photographic backdrop of more concrete grain silos behind, so it looks like these are two sort of like overflow silos that have been added to the front where they could fit them as business has increased. So there's a little unloading shed here which is made from the Clever Models car barn, slightly modified and made considerably smaller so that it better suits the size that I'm going to need there. The concrete silos are simply Pringles tubes wrapped in texture papers. Not exactly a difficult thing to guess there. And the actual elevator building itself is 2mm light ply glued up together and braced, and then coated in texture papers as well. So along the front we still have Singer Auto and the Mercantile building and the Midland Belt Loco storage spare, but as you can see here, because of the expansion to the scenic section along the back, Wells Stonemason is no more, doesn't fit. To use that I would have had to have expanded it along the back, and it just wouldn't have looked right. I'd have missed out on quite a lot of what I wanted to put in there. So it's been replaced by a construction yard, construction merchants, little metal shack along the back there, and then storage shed for lumber, which you can see there I've started to fill with lumber, but I need more to go in there. I've extended the chain link fence all around the back, and I've also scratch built a concrete, powdered concrete silo for the unloading of 2-bay centre flow hoppers. But when I was putting the layout back together again, I knocked this off because it's not glued down, so it can be moved off of the layout for transportation. I knocked it on the floor and it's all fell to bits, so I've got to glue it all back together again. But it's completely scratch built from evergreen styrene strip and sheet cut to size, a ladder kit that I got from somewhere, some safety railings from Orhagen again, and the actual silo itself is made from just cereal box card that I've rolled up, clamped down and glued into like a tube, and then wrapped in Club Models texture papers. I needed to fill the gap along here where the crane used to sit, the support for the crane. So what I've done here is I've made like some little access hatches to get to the machinery that I underneath that works the silo. So basically there's a little cameo here of, hopefully the shadows won't kill this too much, a little cameo here of a gentleman, or the manager, standing over one of his workers who's inside the pit holding up the hatch, inspecting the machinery. There's not actually anything in there, it's just I cut the legs off of a figure and just glued him in there. That's pretty much it. This is the changes that I've done to the layout. I mean, it's quite pretty drastic changes. If I stand back here, you probably get a decent view of the whole of the layout. So there's Handy Company, the new version of West Allen Street, and then Thorn on the end. What I have also worked on, and there's the US flag there, which has a twofold purpose of cluing people in at shows when they're walking from afar what they're looking at, and it also helps hide all of my stored crap, end scale kits, scratch building parts, things like that. But over here I've started working on putting together the next extension and linking board. I've just sort of placed a few structures on here just to give an idea of what's going on. There'll be a street running section along here, just come off the edge of the board there, over a bridging section into Harrison Yard, which is what I'm still working on at the moment. But you can also see one of my new locomotives, a Atlas SD45, and a couple of locomotive projects that I'm working on. I'm repainting a Bowser Alco C630 from it's New York and West Pennsylvania, I think is the modern short line that runs it. It was that originally. It's going to end up in Louisville and Nashville colours. I've given it the grey paint, started to weather it a little bit, the basic weathering, and then I'm waiting for decals turning up from Microscale. You can also see I've started painting the handrails on it as well. Needs more work, a lot more work, but it's basically there. And I've also been working on repainting the Milwaukee Road F7A that I had, also into Louisville and Nashville colours. Started to hand paint the yellow on the front. I think it looks too bad to start with. Since my airbrush is out of action, I've had to resort to actual brushes. But I'll get there. And I've also started a fade job on a Spillington Northern boxcar. So that's that. And then finally is the work I've started on Harrison Yard. The board used to be part of a Fremo module. You've probably seen it in other videos. I've taken up all the track from it and started work on sort of like mocking up where the spurs and the tracks and stuff are going to go. Put some freight cars on here just to figure out what will fit where. Put an engine terminal or servicing facilities along the back with a locomotive shed and another sort of stabling spur, and then a caboose track at the front. That'll run along the back of the yard, but the yard is 3 tracks. It's not much, doesn't have to be. The layout's not too big. The idea is that I will store my rolling stock in boxes underneath the layout, and then swap cars out here to represent Class 1 railroads picking up trains and taking them away. So at the end you'll see that I've got a new board built with legs so that it'll fit against the wall here where the door is. The door still opens, plenty of room to get through, but there's essentially the other end of the yard ladder and the switching lead which runs along to the wall. It's like a loco release more than anything else. The switching lead itself will be down at the other end on the bridging section and into the street running section there. That'll be used as a switching lead for moving like a few cars around at a time, but this one is mainly going to be a loco release for trains, so trains can run in here through the turnouts into the lead, and then essentially run back and into the engine facility on the back. But that's long enough just for a pair of SD42s to fit in it, which is nice, so I can run consists. Also along the back here I've got another little spur which will probably end up becoming a maintenance away facility. I've moved the little box car that I was working on, the recycled reefer, to there, and that's that. But there's a few more of my latest acquisitions here as well, a few box cars, things like that. I also managed to get a pair of Bachmann Southern all-door box cars. One was in Southern colours, and I believe it's still wrong. The lower frame and the end bulkheads need to be brown, kind of like that one is. That one was in Southern Pacific colours for reasons I will never understand because the SP didn't have any. So it's been face painted, and I've started to repaint it. It's a bit messy at the minute, but it'll look better. Again, I've got some decals coming from Microscale to fix that. So that way I'll have a pair of all-door box cars. And that's pretty much it.